Now, new, live, and local, and every weekday from 8 to 9 a.m. This is the show talking about what you want to know, what you need to know, and part of Woof Boom Radio's mission to use our voice to build our community. The all-new Delaware County Today, presented by Muncie Community Schools. Now on WMUN, the Talk of Muncie. Here's your host, Director of News Operations and lead morning anchor, Steve Lindell.
Thank you, Tom Campbell, from Studio B on the south side of Muncie, Indiana. Here's what people are talking about. Muncie Mall, an update. We also have Kids in Focus at 8:15. At 8:30, Brady Sallee, coach, right here in the studio with me. Senior Day tomorrow for the Ball State women. The Dudes are on after the doubleheader here on WMUN on Saturday. Let's dive into the weather, and got a couple of nice numbers to talk about right off the top, and nice numbers are very nice, and let's give all the credit, well, where credit is due. How about we just give it to Paul Poteet?
Looks good for Friday. It becomes sunny after a few morning clouds. 61 in the afternoon. The afternoon is also when the wind will gust up to 30 miles an hour. Down to 38 tonight, mostly clear to partly cloudy. And then the reverse tomorrow. The clouds will increase on Saturday with a high of 55. A cold front comes with rain and snow showers around, no big amounts Saturday night, but it keeps the high to 38 on Sunday. Sunday will be partly to mostly cloudy during the day, and still have an eye on that wave that's coming through Sunday night and Monday. I think it's going to be mainly snow for us. There could be some freezing rain mixed in, and there could be an inch or two of accumulation. Monday's high 38. Scattered showers around. Rain on Tuesday, 49. And more showers Wednesday night into Thursday of next week. Thursday, 64. And it appears a string of days in the 60s will follow. That's your expanded look at the weather this morning. Now more from Steve.
All right, Paul, updates all weekend, too, on WMUN. Our local news summary hits now. Lead story, the Muncie Redevelopment Commission has already committed $2.5 million in tax increment financing for the original Muncie Mall redevelopment plan. On Thursday, they committed another $2.8 million. The new plan is to demolish the entire mall. There's a longer story here. We will cover that later this hour. We have sought and now have a comment from our mayor, Dan Ridenour. He was kind enough to reach out very early this morning. We'll get that to you before the end of the hour, time permitting, and we'll continue covering that story as well. Now, our local news summary, as heard on all of our stations in East Central Indiana, and now on WMUN. Indiana Senator Jim Banks is introducing legislation that would prevent any state from issuing CDLs to illegal immigrants.
She is one of way too many people who have been hurt or killed by illegal immigrant truckers on our roads.
Indiana Republican Senator Jim Banks speaking on the Senate floor Wednesday about Delilah Coleman, a young girl from California who suffered life-changing injuries in a crash 2 years ago. President Trump has since called on Congress to pass the Delilah Law,
which would bar any state in the country from granting an illegal immigrant a commercial driver's license.
It would also revoke trucking licenses given to illegals and require an English-only CDL license test. Jarrett Lewis, Network Indiana.
Indiana regulators are investigating why Hoosiers' utility bills keep climbing.
The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission will question the state's 5 largest utilities. The meeting comes after recent energy legislation and growing concerns about kitchen table impacts, with some utilities arguing that increased energy demand from data centers could lower rates for residents. Renuka Bachpai, Network Indiana.
The Anderson Plan Commission approved a request from Arbor Homes for a 199-house subdivision at the intersection of East 67th Street between Columbus Avenue and Main Street. The Woof Boom Radio Hometown Heroes and Airwaves in Action grants will promote up to 24 nonprofit organizations or free to the community events. Beginning Sunday through March 22 only, all can apply directly at our station websites. They're listed this morning on our news page. For any questions, contact info is on our news page too. Ball State men's basketball comeback victory Tuesday night against UMass keeps faint hope alive for a berth in the men's MAC tournament, but Voice of Cardinals Mick Tidrow told WMUN it had a deeper meaning inside the locker room.
When you have a season like they've had and lost a lot of close games, it was, for them, probably very galvanizing for them just to have that moment go their way.
Men play tomorrow on WMUN, 3:30 airtime, right after the women's game. That's home for Senior Day. Man for Man Ministries' Bob Bloom recently told Oldies 101's Anderson Talks radio show many problems that he's seen from people he's worked with over the years can be tracked back to a single common source.
They're there as a result of a bigger problem, and that's the absent father at home, or the father with no boundaries, or the father that's not connecting with the family. I blame a lot of it on the father.
U.S. Representative Andre Carson says he doesn't want a new federal detention center in Indianapolis.
Internal documents show an ICE detention facility big enough for over 8,000 people could be coming to Indy. It's all part of the Trump administration's immigration campaign, but Carson isn't having it. He said Wednesday that ICE isn't welcome and that government funding should go toward housing and road improvement rather than detaining children and killing people. Jake McDaniel, Network Indiana.
The Anderson Board of Public Works has awarded contracts for the demolition of 12 vacant homes in the city. The Herald Bulletin says the contracts total more than $70,000. College Mentors for Kids helps to set school children up with college role models who can show the values of higher education. Trey Whitehead works with many campuses in central Indiana, including Anderson University. And those types of connections are critical.
Just the importance of learning from someone who's in the position that you want to be is just invaluable, I think.
That from Oldies 101's Anderson Journal Morning Show. Mount Vernon visits Yorktown tonight in the final regular season game of the week on WMUN for boys basketball pregame 7 p.m. The regular season concludes with an afternoon game tomorrow on our Oldies 101. Anderson hosts Fort Wayne pregame 3:15 p.m. More local every day on our free woofboomnews.com.
News.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Let's go! You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
What goes better with a meal? Bacon. At Heartland Steak Co., they take their bacon seriously. From their double smoked hickory to their honey jalapeno, which brings sweet and spicy together for the perfect combination, to their all-new bacon flavors like whiskey peppercorn with its smoky richness, to their applewood double smoked bacon that's smoked over real applewood chips, to their all-new maple bourbon bacon, which brings out the subtle notes of maple and bourbon for a rich taste. Heartland Steak Co. has your bacon and USDA Midwestern beef ready to ship and delivered straight to your door. Don't wait. Order today for yourself, a friend, or anyone who loves that true Midwest taste. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And right now, when you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping plus 2 pounds of bacon with promo code BACON. Go and get your bacon from heartlandsteakco.com. That's heartlandsteakco.com, promo code BACON. Taste the Heartland difference.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
As we are live from Studio B on the campus of Woof Boom Radio, south side of Muncie, Indiana. We now have the good fortune of having, I think it's about a monthly guest here with Tami Silverman from the Indiana Youth Institute. Tami, always good to see you in our Zoom room. And how are you doing this fine day?
I'm having a great day. I'm glad it's Friday.
Did you hear what the weather's going to do for us, at least for a day or two? We've got a couple of decent temperatures for a while.
We do. It's time to get outside, right? This afternoon and enjoy it.
Absolutely. The Indiana Youth Institute in focus in our monthly conversation as we talk with Tami about today the data count. The big book came out that shares information about the Indiana Kids Count data book. Where do we rank as far as health among our kids, Tami?
Well, for overall, if it's all right, we'll start with overall well-being, which includes a whole bunch of factors: health, education, economic well-being, and a category that the national rankings call family and community. And we rank 25th nationally for overall child well-being. That's up from 27th last year. So we're moving in the right direction. And at the same time, we're pleased, but never satisfied with that, because being kind of middle of the pack in the country, I think we can do better for our kids.
So it looks like the overall theme, looking at some of this data from the kids count, is that, as you just alluded to, Indiana seems to be moving in the right direction, which is nice. We like progress. The full Indiana data book is available at IYI.org, by the way, folks. You can certainly see all of that information there. Where do we rank in education, and how might it compare today to previous data, Tami?
Yes, education is our bright spot. So nationally, we rank 11th in the country for education, which we want to crack that top 10. We're almost doing that. And that's up from 17th last year. So that's a big jump forward. A lot of that has to do with early literacy and some of those iRead proficiency rates, and those went up considerably in the last year. So we know there are a lot of programs. The science of reading has been a big deal for the Department of Education, and other groups such as the Indiana After School Network has been doing terrific work in this space, and it's paying off.
We talked to educators here in Muncie, Delaware County, superintendents of schools, Yorktown and Muncie Community Schools and more, and they have shared their pride in those testing scores and moving in the right direction. So that's clear and positive data on the ground here, too. Tami Silverman is our guest from the Indiana Youth Institute. Let's talk about early literacy, because as you and I have talked about, and other guests on my program, early reading and getting into that very important factor is really, really critical.
You are 100% right. And, we often say, and I know the educators are the ones that trained us to say, first our job is to teach kids to read, and then it's so that they can read to be able to learn. And that early proficiency is foundational. So the iRead proficiency rose to 87.3%, and that's up 5% from just last year, which matches our highest rate since before the pandemic. I know we've been talking a lot about the pandemic effects and all of those things. So we're seeing we've caught up with that as far as reading goes. Now it'll be important to see where we go from here. It's also important to note, all of this data is subdivided into a whole bunch of different groups, and all those categories are in our data book. Proficiency in early literacy went up across every single group. So positive momentum across the board on early literacy.
WMUN's Delaware County Today. I'm Steve Lindell, live from Studio B on the campus of Woof Boom Radio as we talk with Tami Silverman from the Indiana Youth Institute about the Kids Count data information, which has been going on for a number of years so they can track pluses and minuses over time. Let's talk about high school outcomes and also what the survey showed about post-secondary education, the kids that are going out and on to the next level of school or not.
Yeah, graduation rates. I hope your folks there are also proud of the graduation rates across the state. Indiana's graduation rate increased for the third consecutive year to just under 92%, and that's the highest graduation rate on record. So really strong outcomes there. At the same time, and this is one of those things, the data helps us probe some questions and have some of those deeper conversations really at the community local school level, is fewer students are going straight to college. So as more students really think about other options that are out there, the immediate college enrollment fell to just over 50%. And that's been declining for almost a decade, 9 years to be precise.
Tami Silverman is our guest. I'm Steve Lindell from Studio B, our video multi-purpose studio, the newest innovation in broadcast technology. Tami, you're welcome to come here and visit sometime and do one of these interviews in person. That would be great. On to the health subject for now. We've got some big concerns still there.
We do. Where we said education was our bright spot, unfortunately, health is one of our lowest rankings. So Indiana ranks 30th nationally in health compared to other states. That is up from 32nd the prior year. So we're making progress. Just we're still lagging behind most of the country. Youth mental health is one of those areas that, we've really been leaning into and learning so much more about in recent years. We know that the rates of young people who told us, and this data is based on direct input from students, the rate of kids that say they are persistently sad or hopeless did decrease, and it decreased by about 6%. So, as we talk about data, we often say, don't forget these numbers represent real kids, right? So 6% across the state is a good number of young people. So that's very positive. There's also fewer students who are reporting suicidal thoughts or having made suicidal plans. At the same time, Indiana's national ranking for children at risk of depression remains 16th highest in the country. So, it's kind of a mixed bag here. There's obviously so much more that we need to be doing.
We're talking with Tami Silverman from the Indiana Youth Institute, our monthly conversation here on Delaware County Today in the interest of kids here in Muncie, Delaware County and beyond. The survey was looking at family and community and economic well-being. What was found there, Tami?
Yeah, well, there's going to be more to come in the economic well-being. That ties a lot to the census data. And unfortunately, because of the government shutdown that we had earlier, at the end of 25, some of that data was released very late. So we're going to do a wrap up on a lot of the census data. But again, we know that we're ranked 31st nationally in family and community. Economic well-being is usually also a strong bright spot for our state. Actually, the cost of living, even though it's hard day to day, and we know that families are still struggling with some of the increased costs of groceries and those things, on average, compared to other states, the cost of housing and living and raising a family in Indiana still is pretty moderate.
WMUN's Delaware County Today. Kids are important to all of us, not just Muncie, Delaware County and Indiana, but everywhere. This data has been presented, I think, at least once, the statewide virtual meeting. I missed that one, I'm sorry to say, Tami, but I know you have some more State of the Child events that are forthcoming. Perhaps you could tell us how to dial into those for our listeners.
Absolutely. We still have 16 local State of the Child presentations that are going to be going on. So hopefully there's one that's fairly close. I know a little towards the end of what we call our campaign, we'll be coming to Muncie and having this Day of the Child. We're so grateful for everyone that has leaned in, including Ball State and United Way, and the folks there that really do welcome us and have a deep conversation about the data. But you can find all of those locations and dates. They start next week at IYI.org. They're all open to anyone who's interested in learning more about how our kids are doing.
All right. Tami Silverman, the Indiana Youth Institute president and CEO, our guest this morning via the Zoom room inside Studio B. Tami, have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend, okay?
You too. Thanks so much. Thanks,
All right.
Steve.
Lots more to come, including a coach. In fact, he is one of those coaches that we are so proud to have a connection with. He is none other than Brady Sallee, bottom of hour, live here in Studio B for WMUN, and you just never know what he's going to say, which is part of the fun. It's senior day for the Ball State women's basketball team tomorrow. We'll talk about that and how exciting it might be in the days and weeks to come. Chirp, chirp. More to come. The Cardinals, by the way, on WMUN are presented by Pride Mark Construction. More in a moment on WMUN.
1, 2, 3, 4. In 1964, the Beatles invaded America. And now you have a chance to see the #1 Beatles tribute band in the world. 1964.
Coming Saturday, May 30th to the Paramount Theater in Anderson. Tickets are on sale now at andersonparamount.org. 1964 at the Paramount Theater in Anderson on Saturday, May 30th. Get tickets at andersonparamount.org.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. No subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank. Member FDIC. Terms apply.
Meet Albert, your personal financial assistant, an app that manages your finances. Albert analyzes your income, bills, and cash flow to create custom budgets, help you manage spending, and even find savings automatically in the background. Plus, when you need cash, you can get up to $10,000 fast. Yes, you heard that right. $10,000 for unexpected expenses, debt consolidation, travel, whatever you need. Just download the Albert app. And get this. Have a question about your finances? Ask Genius anything. Albert's AI assistant. Members are saving hundreds of dollars within months of joining Albert, the personal finance app that does it for you. Don't wait.
Download Albert and use promo code GROW for your 30-day trial and borrow up to $10,000. That's promo code GROW. Use promo code GROW to borrow up to $10,000 with the Albert app.
Stugatz here. Israel's a hot topic right now, and with so many opinions and emotions surrounding it, it could feel hard to know where to start. The Bible tells us, I will bless those who bless you. That isn't just a comforting promise, it's a clear calling from God. And today, with anti-Semitism rising around the world, that calling is more urgent than ever. When Christians choose to bless Israel, we are not entering a political issue. We are honoring the root of our faith and standing against hatred. Supporting Israel is more than a belief, it's a biblical mandate. And by partnering with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, you can push back against darkness and be a light to God's people. Learn how you can bless Israel and be blessed in return. Visit ifcj.org today. Again, that's ifcj.org. Be the blessing, live the word, answer the call.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community School.
Thank you, Tom Campbell, the voice of WMUN and the voice of basketball at Cardinal Country is this man right here. He is Brady Sallee. What, you made a face like that's not true?
Well, that just seems like a lot on me, like I don't know that I'd...
You live for the pressure. Come on now, brother.
We don't mind it.
I see that little Cheshire cat grin there. We're having you in the studio today because it's been a big season, but it's gone fast, and now we get down to the nitty-gritty, and the seniors need to be saluted. So let's start there for the tomorrow ball game.
Yeah, so it's a weird time in college athletics, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of who your seniors are. with people coming and going.
Got it.
We actually only have one, Brady Sallee, who's been just an absolute treat to coach. She transferred to us from Gonzaga.
I've heard of that school.
Yeah, they I think they're good at curling.
Well,
something.
The United States is good at
There you
curling.
go.
I don't know
Yeah.
about Gonzaga, but you digress.
Have me back when you want to talk curling, because I
Really?
feel like I became an expert over 2 weeks.
I'm shifting out of basketball for just a quick second because you gave me a squirrel word. I am having curling withdrawals. You too?
Well, I set up in my basement. I set up a little makeshift.
I believe you.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't. But
is
but
that
yeah.
next to your weightlifting belt
Yes,
too? Is that the one that was on
You've
the
heard
video?
about my lifting expertise
On WMUN, thank you very much.
it's
I listen all
unbelievable.
the time
Yeah, well,
because
thank you.
we're
Most
very
do.
famous. Back to the basketball now. Yeah.
So Bree transferred to us from Gonzaga, and to say we were excited when we got her would be an understatement. I mean, she was highly, highly recruited out of high school. Had offers all over the place, and leaving Gonzaga had offers all over the place. To give you a little bit of an idea of how big it was for us to get her, when she committed to us, the head coach at Maryland, Brenda Freeze, who used to coach here at Ball State.
I remember her.
Yeah. Good friend of mine. She texts and she goes, "Oh my gosh." She goes, "That is a huge get." And so, across the country, there were some shockwaves when Bree said, "Hey, I'm coming to Ball State." So, and she's been everything and more. Her leadership, she's just been an absolute treat, and is a heck of a player, leading scorer, leading rebounder. I mean, you couldn't ask for more. So we get to celebrate her. We also are going to celebrate a young lady that I really believe has taken our program to a different level. Caroline Shue, who does all of our social media. If anybody follows us, which we've got a lot now because of her, she creates all the content, all the graphics you see out there. She is an absolute stud when it comes to that stuff.
And
It's
I imagine that kind of stuff doesn't hurt you in recruiting and name recognition and going out and looking for players and stuff, because they're seeing fun and interesting and dynamic video content. That matters a lot nowadays.
What she's done is she's taken a really good group of players and she's shown all of our fans and really people that aren't even able to come to the games, she's shown their personalities, which I think is the real treat of this team, is like the personalities are awesome. And so Caroline is also graduating, and so we're going to celebrate her because she's done so much for our program.
Brady Sallee is the guest. We're in Studio B of the Woof Boom Radio Complex. This is the first time you've seen this, right? We've not invited you in here, partly because of the glare.
Right.
Apologize, folks. For I was talking about me.
Oh, okay.
No, you're fine.
It's fine is a strong word.
It's this jet white hair of mine that just
love that hair.
Just washes me out. But I'm going chirp chirp red because you were coming. You know why I wear red every Friday? Because it's hashtag Chirp Chirp Friday in my mind. Is that okay to do?
You're absolutely a gamer.
You gotta dress for the room, and you gotta dress to support, and you gotta dress, to be impressive.
Well, and it's why I nicknamed you early in my time the governor, because you just do things at a level that.
There's a real story there. Do you want to hear that? You didn't give me that nickname.
I didn't?
No.
Who did?
A little kid at an elementary school in Delaware County. I think it was one of the Wapahani schools. True story.
Is this?
I went to this. I'm not making this up.
Okay.
Now, my mom's listening in Minnesota.
Right.
She's thinking, oh, dear, he's going to make up a story for entertainment value.
That
No,
wouldn't be you.
No, this is true. True story. Absolutely. I was doing a little speech presentation at an elementary school. That was many years ago. Brady Sallee is our guest. We're not talking about basketball for the moment. He asked for a story, so I'm telling it to him. And I was doing Q&A at the end, and a little kid raised their hand and said, yeah, Mr. Lindell, that kind of a deal.
Sure.
Do you know that we call you our radio buddy? And that's how I got it.
The radio buddy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I know what you're thinking. That kid deserves some residuals or
I mean,
something.
we should at least name the Studio B after him. I mean, instead of just
How about some
Studio B.
NIL money? Maybe some NIL money for the kid.
Listen,
Now we're back on topic. Yeah.
I know, I mean, I look old, but was I young enough to be that kid?
No.
No,
you are not. Brady Sallee is our guest. I told you this was going to be a hootenanny with him in here in Studio B, WMUN. Pride Mark Construction is the presenter of the Ball State Cardinal broadcasts and Senior Day with only two, because you mentioned the social media person too. Does that mean they get more time on the floor because there's only 1 or 2 of them tomorrow at the game?
Well,
because sometimes you have as many as like 6 or 8 or 12.
Like last year we had 6, so we had to do it after the game. This year we're going back to doing it before. So anybody coming to the game, please get there. We're going to start with 10 minutes on the clock. So, if you're in your seat 15 minutes before tip, you'll get to see all the stuff and be able to celebrate Bree. But they'll get a little bit more pomp and circumstance, so to speak. And so it'll be awesome for Bree. She's again. Sometimes these transfers, they come and they go, and you don't really get to know them, and you don't, and I think everybody appreciates what she's done. And when it's all over and they can really hear what that young lady's gone through physically to stay on the floor and be as good as she is, it's going to be a great, great story.
Brady Sallee's our guest, WMUN Studio B, Delaware County today. You were talking about that one particular player with the Gonzaga transfer. The gets that you have been getting, Coach, for a little while now have been quite impressive. I guess you don't want to release the secret sauce on the radio, but how are you doing what you're doing?
Well, honestly, it starts with my associate head coach, Audrey Spencer. She is, I think, one of the best, if not the best recruiters in the Midwest, and is really making a name for herself. I mean, everybody knows that our success is in a direct parallel to the work that she's doing out there. She gets her hooks into kids and develops those relationships and somehow convinces them that they want to play for this guy. That's a tough job.
He is the stomper, by the way. You toned that down just a hair.
Well, and
let me define stomper, by the way, for those that don't know. He gets really, really, really intense during games, or has, and stomps his feet. I have on the radio and face-to-face whenever I see him and talk to him and others, and President Mearns, I have commented on the fact that you probably need a shoe deal because you're smashing your feet so hard.
Right. So a couple things have happened, right? Okay. So, during COVID, we got away from wearing the suits.
Yep.
Got away.
Do you like that part?
Yes and no. I mean,
you could suit up. No, you could be like Tom Landry back in the day, wear a hat.
Here's the problem. If I went back to wearing suits, I think my staff would boycott, because they really enjoy being comfortable during the games. Right. But maybe, we could find a happy medium there. I'm thinking about it, but, you can't really wear Cole Haan leather-soled shoes with sweats.
By the way, they're not a sponsor, but
sorry.
They could be. That's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to be.
Well, sure.
Right?
We got room.
So, I do miss that part of it,
okay.
But it's nice kind of wearing tennis shoes. That stomp in tennis shoes doesn't quite do the same thing.
There's no noise. There's no noise. There's no impact. Brady Sallee is our guest, WMUN's Delaware County today. My name is Steve Lindell, but he is the star of the program, the Senior Day, Senior Light Day, because there's just the few number of graduates, which also lends to a very nice thought in this non-sportscaster's mind. That would mean that next year, if everything holds together, look at him smiling already. Next year, he raised his eyebrows on the close-up camera there on the video stream.
Yeah.
You're kind of set up theoretically for another run or so.
And you use the word theoretically, because in this crazy world we live in of the transfer portal, you really don't know until you know, right? So we certainly feel good about the returners, with the year that Tessa Towers has had, Grace Kingery has had, Carson Norman has had, you can go on, and East Haggai, Zen Verbit. all those kids have had really good years, and they've got a lot of years left. So we've got to be able to find a way to keep them.
Final minute that we have with Coach Sallee, I'd like to ask you some rapid-fire questions. Which team in the MAC tourney poses the most problems for your squad?
Yeah, I mean, Miami of Ohio right now. They've gotten us twice. Our last game with them was something else, but we've got to figure out a way to steal a few possessions and hopefully play them Saturday morning.
All right, very good. Tomorrow's game is in the afternoon and is at home. The Mid-American Conference, obviously, champion goes to the NCAA, and the MAC doesn't get a tremendous amount of love, as they say, beyond that champion of the conference. And to me, that seems quite unfair, especially when there's at least a couple or maybe a few really strong teams in your conference. How does a Brady Sallee feel about that dissing sometimes?
Yeah, I think it's a crock.
Okay,
to be honest with you.
I knew he'd say something useful right there.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to one of the talking heads on the SEC network last night. We were texting back and forth, and he was on TV, and we were going back and forth about how all those big schools have to do is literally win one game. If they can upset one team, all of a sudden they're in the conversation. I'm like, what in the world happened to winning?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you have to win to play in the national tournament? But the NCAA and women's basketball, the higher-ups, they've set this up where, they just protect the big boys. And it's just it's a shame because it's like a participation trophy. Well, we participate in the P4, so here's your blue ribbon, and you get to go to the tournament.
I'm not a ribbon guy. Brady Sallee, final question. When you win the MAC tournament, who do you want to beat in the first round of the large dance?
Oh, my gosh.
These are the kind of probing questions that I think of.
I would love to just be close enough to Muncie where fans could get there.
Okay.
And there's going to be some opportunities, whether it's Ohio State, whether it's Louisville. There's going to be some opportunities for that Michigan. I would love to be able to let Cardinal Nation roll into wherever we are because they've been so good to us this year. We've had great crowds, as big as we've ever had.
Brady, always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for coming in to Studio B, your first visit. There will be other visits, by the way, and we will adjust the cameras for your forehead for future visits.
And it's crazy that Studio B is short for Studio Brady. So I think, it's just it's
we have
really
salespeople that could probably get you a sponsorship deal. There's your NIL in reverse.
I love it. Yes.
I love it myself. This is Delaware County Today on WMUN.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Alex Brown. The Allen County Fort Wayne Capital Improvement Board on Thursday approved up to $1.5 million to support the development of the North River District Mixed-Use Project at the former OmniSource Metal Recycling Plant north of downtown Fort Wayne. A portion of the funding will cover an initial payment to Kansas City-based Price Brothers Development as part of a proposed professional services agreement. The city's redevelopment commission will vote next month on the agreement, at which point the firm will begin the master planning process. Indiana Governor Mike Braun on Thursday signed legislation to build a publicly funded football stadium for the Chicago Bears in Hammond within hours of the bill's passage. The Indiana Senate voted 45-4 to approve final changes to Senate Bill 27, which allows for $1 billion in public bonds to pay for the construction of an NFL stadium near Wolf Lake, just a few minutes from the Indiana-Illinois border. This is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress, from the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, invest in connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures. Visit elevateventures.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader.
You remember listening to him.
The kick by Jackson, it is up and good, a 20-yard field goal. It's down to the 5-yard line, touchdown in the end zone. They've taken the lead.
And taking in his love for this community.
Over the years, I've gotten to know the boys and girls who are athletes, and they go on and are very successful.
And today, we hope to help local student athletes achieve that success. Hi, I'm Kirk Darling, Sports Director for Woof Boom Radio. Myself and all of us at Woof Boom are honored to carry on the legacy of Maury Manny's. This spring, we'll be awarding the Maury Manny's Scholarship to one male and one female high school student athlete, both in Madison and Delaware counties.
Maybe one of these young people will go on and do great things.
It's been said many times, high school athletics are part of a complete education, and no one understood that more than Maury Manny's. The Maury Manny's Scholarship, another way Woof Boom Radio is helping lift up East Central Indiana.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell. Presented by Muncie Community School.
You are looking down the line, camera 4 in Studio B, and my guest is right there for you. That's Kurt Darling, Woof Boom Sports Director. Kurt, how excited are you for next week already?
I'm excited, but also it's always a very stretching time to make sure that you have all the time in the world to be able to cover everything that needs to be covered, but it's always fun.
We'll get to this weekend plans and then next week's initial plans. Let's start and not bury the lead, as we like to say in the business. There is a big announcement that we've been working on that you are able to talk about right now, so lay it on us.
So starting next Friday, March 6th, we will be covering Ball State baseball on WMUN for the first time ever. So we are going to be covering 22 Ball State baseball home games, and we're also going to be going on the road for 3 in-state games with the Ball State baseball team. So we are super excited to be able to cover Ball State baseball play-by-play. It will be myself, Mick Tidrow, and Mark Forrester splitting the load with all of those games. And on top of that, we're also very excited to be partnering with Ball State Sports Link to be able to bring in some student broadcasters to be involved in various different ways with this production. But it's been a long time. It's a short time, but a long time getting this all ready to go. We were literally approached about this just a few weeks ago, and Jay Chapman and Lindsey Stafford, our general sales manager, came to me and said, "Hey, we're doing baseball. Let's get to work on this." And so we are super excited, and we will be posting details about it on our various socials here coming up very soon, but we are super excited to be covering Ball State baseball.
Awesome. Kurt Darling, Sports Director, Woof Boom Sports. Let's talk to the high school level now. What you got next before we start the tournament next week?
So we got the regular season finale tonight. It's going to be Mount Vernon and Yorktown. Mount Vernon with the likely Mr. Basketball candidate in Luke Ertl. He's averaging 24 points a ball game. It's going to be a tough task for the Tigers tonight, but the Tigers have won 8 games in a row now. That's the first time they've done that since 2012. So they are on a really good streak right now. They're looking good going into the tournament, and we're super excited for that one as well. So pregame at 6:50 tonight, tip-off at around 7:30. It's also senior night at Yorktown as well, so we may have a little bit of an elongated pregame because of the festivities, but either way, it should be a good game.
We like festivities. WMUN, Woof Boom Radio, the FM, the AM, the video feeds for all of our coverage that's been getting just rave reviews, lots of clicks, lots of views. Now, remember, we want you to go to the game first and foremost. Be a backer of your team, but, you can watch this stuff. Some people do it on their phone right in the arena where our guys are doing their thing, but you can also replay it the next day, next morning, save it forever, send it to grandma out in a different state or something like that. It's fantastic. Kurt, let's talk about the tournament now. Now, that gets a little complicated, so take us through this as clearly as you can. Okay?
So we're going to at least have 4 games next week, and it all depends on we're at the mercy of the tournament of how things all shake out. But assuredly, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be covering the Yorktown Jay County game at Newcastle Fieldhouse. That'll be a video-only game on our on our IHSA TV feed. We will not be able to stream that on our Facebook feed because of the IHSA tournament rules. Then on Wednesday, we will be radio only for Daleville Westdale. We're good. We don't do enough of Daleville and Westell. And so we're glad we'll be able to at least cover them as well. The latter part of the week is when it gets tricky. Yeah. So Muncie Central is going to be playing Richmond in the first round of the tournament. If they win, they will be facing Mount Vernon. That is where we will go as priority A. Now, if the unfortunate event happens that the Bearcats are unable to advance and Yorktown advances and Delta has the bye in Newcastle, we will be doing a doubleheader Friday night from Newcastle Fieldhouse with Yorktown and Delta. And either way, we're hoping to have a sectional championship. Wapahani could make a run to the sectional championship in their run as well, or we could be right back at Newcastle again on Saturday.
That is all from his head. He's got no notes. Sheesh.
I need to charge my phone. I don't have it with me. So,
Kirk Darling, Woof Boom Sports Director, thanks for doing incredible work for us. This is an exciting time of the year. Very busy, but we got the right guy running the show. Thanks for being here, and thanks for doing it.
Appreciate your kind words, Steve.
Absolutely. Stand by for next feature. Now, let's go to a snapshot of our day today.
It's February 27th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today's National Pokemon Day, marking the anniversary of the Japanese release of the game on this day in 1996. Also on this day in 2020, the Dow Jones Index suffers its biggest points fall in history, closing down 1,190.95 in New York over concerns about COVID-19. 1 year later in 2021, the U.S. gives the green light to the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the third such shot to protect against the coronavirus. Also on this day in 2013, Pope Benedict presents his farewell address to Vatican City. A train crashes into a buffer at Cairo's main railway station in 2019, killing 25, injuring dozens in Egypt. Born on this day in England in 1932, legendary star of the silver screen, Elizabeth Taylor. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
On WMUN, News Talk, Sports Talk, Community Talk, one of the big stories that just developed in Muncie yesterday, last night, and this week has to do with the Muncie Mall. As mentioned earlier this hour, the Hull Properties Group is changing their plan. We have a comment from Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour from 509 this morning, quoting, "Struggling malls are Hull Properties business. Experience shows them best turning those acres into a wholesale club, hotel, restaurant, retail, apartments, and medical uses. Let's see how it plays out," unquote. That's from Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour to me earlier this morning. The Muncie Redevelopment Commission had committed $2.5 million, now $2.8 additional in tax increment financing. The new plan from the group, John Mullerin with the Hull Property Group, says they're going to take it all down. It will take anywhere from 6 months to a couple or a few years. We've got more information on that story already posted on our Woof Boom News website. IPR was one of the first to report on this. Stephanie over there is doing a great job and deserves a lot of credit for a lot of news coverage in Muncie and Delaware County, as do so many others trying to keep you informed in your town. Final item for today from the 2019 archives. These kinds of reunion stories give me goosebumps.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A deployed dad from Tennessee who gave his son Luca a surprise he will never forget makes today's Dean's List. Staff Sergeant Rob Serstinino had been serving with the Tennessee National Guard in Jordan and southern Syria since May of 2018. He's also the proud father of 6 and talks to his youngest son, Luca, about every 2 weeks while deployed. He and his wife arranged to surprise Luca at Taekwondo, coming home 4 days earlier than he expected. Luca's instructors told him he'd be sparring with 3 people blindfolded. While he was sparring with the final instructor, Luca's dad jumped in. His boy had no idea he was actually punching his dad. It wasn't until he called Luca by his childhood nickname that he recognized it was his dad. He ripped his blindfold off and jumped into his father's arms. Luca's dad says they miss the simple moments and they can't wait to spend more time together. Rob and Luca, you made the Dean's List. Janice Dean, Fox News.
Fantastic. As Janice continues to recover and get stronger, we hope to hear her back soon, very soon. I'm ready to wrap up the day today. Before I do so, I want to thank Aiden Foster, my producer in the Axia Command Center. This is the same Aiden Foster that is a member of the Ball State Speech Team statewide winners from last weekend. Thank you, Al, for the inside information. I'm Steve Lindell. Back again Monday and every day, 8 to 9 a.m. live and always on demand. Our website is WMUNmuncie.com for Delaware County Today on WMUN.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. You ever feel like running a business is just nonstop? Every day's game day? That's why